All right, so It Chapter 2, oh, my hair's doing like a wave. It's kind of neat. This is my It Chapter 2 spoiler talk. If you've seen It Chapter 2, welcome, stick around. If you haven't, spoiler warning, I'm gonna spoil some stuff. Some stuff, that is. For this spoiler talk, as all spoiler talks, it's not a play-by-play. This movie's 3 hours long. I'm not gonna tell you, I'm not gonna go by everything that happened in the movie. If I did that, this video would, well, in essence, be about 3 hours long. Or 20 minutes. I kid, kind of. I still like the movie, but there's some drawn out stuff in it. Anyhow, this movie starts out with a hate crime where this gay couple gets beaten up and thrown over a bridge, and then Pennywise gets the dude in the river and kills him and eats him. I actually do know that was from the book. Which was actually an important thing to show, not, you know, for the hate crime, but it was important to show that Pennywise is killing adults too. He'll kill adults. I mean, Ben brought that up in It Chapter 1. He's like, the death rate here is insane. It's worse for kids, but adults as well. So I like that it showed Pennywise was like, no, I'll eat anybody who's scared out of their mind. Then everyone gets the phone call because Mike stayed behind, and he's all like, all right, guys, it's happening again. And they all get the phone call, and now they're coming back. They're coming back to Derry. I kind of skipped over Stanley. I get to Stanley at the end because there's more to Stanley. Stanley kills himself because Stanley's like, fuck that, I'm not going back. Kind of. So we'll talk about Stanley at the end. Which that first meetup was great because that's when you see the personalities coming through and you're like, oh, so Bill Hader's gonna crush it. That's what he's gonna do. He was talking about Eddie's mom and he was like, yeah, me and your mom are very happy. Sometimes she rolls over to me and goes, I can't do the Jabba the Hutt like he did. God, did they voice alter him? Or can he just do that well? I remember when he impersonated Jabba the Hutt dying and knocked up. I can't even do it that. Like his tongue was going back and forth really fast. I can't do that. Ladies. But yeah, then Richie's like, I'm leaving town before this ends worse than one of Bill's books. Like, they all just want to leave. They're like, we don't want to stick around. But Mike has a plan. He's like, I'm going to give Bill some salvia and he's just going to trip balls, which, is that a little root that he put in the drink that specifically makes you trip balls about Pennywise? Like, Bill could have tripped about anything. Are you seeing Pennywise?
No, but I really want to watch some Hendrix videos. What did you give me?
So it's pretty remarkable that he got all the answers about Pennywise that he was gonna get and then he needed. The bummer is, like, the trailer did. It showed us some stuff that it shouldn't have shown us. Granted, they showed us cool stuff. Also, those cool things would have been neat to see in the movie. Like when the little girl's, like, there's the little firefly and it's flying off. I'm like, oh, that's when he grabs it and he goes, hello. That kind of felt bad for him. And that's Pennywise was like, people make fun of my face. And he's all like pathetic and she's like, oh, I'll be your friend. He just eats her head. Like that funhouse scene was great. But again, in the trailer, I saw the kid in the trailer and then I was like, oh, that's the kid Bill keeps running into. And he kind of looks kind of creepy because he's always running into this kid and freaking out on him. Be like, move from this town. This kid, like, stranger danger alarms got to be going off hardcore. But I recognize the kid from the trailer. I'm like, oh, that's the kid in the funhouse. And that kid is completely he's not getting out of that funhouse. And sure enough, Pennywise starts beating his head against the glass. You know, he starts doing the Frank Yeager, the cyborg ninja from Metal Gear Solid. Eats the kid immediately, and just visually that was great because the blood's all blood. And it's like reflection, blood, based on how the light's hitting it. Basically, any scene where a child's being eaten and murdered, it's pretty sweet. Where else can you say that? Except an It review. It sounds terrible. It's not true. Also, when I was giving props to the actors in my review of It Chapter 2, totally skipped over Bill Skarsgård. I don't know, I was just talking about the grown-up kids, the kids that are now grown up and adult. Bill Skarsgård is great as Pennywise, though. And we find out in this movie, Pennywise has been, this group of Native Americans, they know about Pennywise. And he's been terrorizing people, I guess, for a long time. He's been there for a few million years, I guess. Which I feel like they could have done more with that, because Mike's all like, there's an echo. We stopped it, but it's echoed and comes back in 27 years, and the echo's back. But it's like every 27 years, why every 27 years does Pennywise come back to Derry? What do you mean echo? And I feel like they were alluding to stuff that just didn't go anywhere. As for the end of the movie, they go back into that crickety-ass, creepy house. And I had heard that some people found it very repetitive in that house, and I didn't at first. And then I saw the trailer again because it's a great trailer. But yeah, watching it again, there's the fridge that shakes from the first one. You got the 3 doors, the 3 choices, and all of it's from the first It. I guess when watching it, I was like, oh, it makes sense because that's what freaked him out last time. It's childhood trauma. Of course, that's going to be what's on their minds when they're in this place. So that's in turn what's going to manifest. But I can see how if you're just watching it for the movie's sake, you're like, that's a little repetitive. Which the fact that you can make things hurt Pennywise when it's just imaginary, so Pennywise, what I gather anyway, is that he makes your fears come to life, but it's your thoughts that come to life. So like in It Chapter 1, when that thing that kills cows, you know, the No Country for Old Men thing, someone uses it on Pennywise, they're like, oh, it's not loaded, and it goes click, but then Pennywise reacts like it hurt him, because he believed it would hurt Pennywise, so that's why it hurt Pennywise. So Pennywise makes your thoughts come to life. It's not just fear, this movie does it with a spear. It's just like, oh, this hurts monsters, and that's the one thing they actually use for that. Well, that and, you know, turning him into a little baby. But I thought they could have done so much more with the concept of, okay, we can make things killer weapons against this thing just by believing that they're killer weapons. I know it's hard. There's a difference between believing something's real, knowing something's real, and thinking it's real, but knowing it's not real, so it's not really gonna work. It's tough, but I just thought they could have done more with that. They could have done more with a lot of things in this movie. They could have done more with the bully that's back. He's been in the nut house. I guess he lived falling down the well, and then he came out the sewer the other side, and then he's got arrested, and he's been in the loony bin now. So Pennywise busts him out. His Kylo Ren looking friend who died in It Chapter 1 is his driver now, and he's going around and does exactly jack shit in the movie. He stabs Eddie in the cheek, Eddie stabs him in the chest, and then Richie smashes him in the head with an axe, and then he dies. They could have done a lot more with him too. I don't know if that's how it is in the book. Like I said, my other review, if you're going to get on your keyboard and type, that's how it was in the book, please reference the beginning of my It Chapter 2 spoiler-free review. So there were like many things in this movie I felt like they could have done much more with, but maybe they were like, hey, that'll make it like a 5-hour movie. Even the flashback scenes with the kids, I felt like those were scenes that were originally going to be in It Chapter 1, and they were like, okay, we're coming up on 3 hours. We don't know if people are going to sit through this movie for 3 hours, so let's make the movie that's a little over 2 hours, and then if people like it, then we'll make It Chapter 2 3 hours long. All the flashback scenes would have been better served in It Chapter 1, but then again, without the flashback scenes, you just have a lot of adults hanging around a town. One of them trips balls, then they kind of find out what they need to do. So then they go down and turn him into a little baby head with little arms and rip his heart out. So I guess for flow, you might need the flashback scenes. And that's what happens. All right, before they turn him into a baby, let's just address the fact that they go even deeper into Pennywise's lair, and they see where he landed, and there's the 3 floating balls, and Richie gets nailed by it, which that physical timing is aces. It's amazing. He's like, yippee-ki-yay, mother. It was so good. It's so hard to go from energetic to just still. So they realize, they're like, wait, what we believe to be reality, we can inflict on him. So they basically deal with Pennywise the way anyone should deal with a Twitter mob or cancel culture if it comes after them. They just stand their ground. They're like, you're nothing. You don't have power over us. The only power you have is the power we give you. You're tiny. You're small. You're a little clown. And he turns into a little baby head with little baby arms. He turns into a little mushy baby, and they rip his heart out right in front of him and crush it. And I felt bad for him. I did. He's just like, he's trying to like go at him. They just rip his heart out and crush it, and now Pennywise is gone. Looks like forever. The fact that they haven't started forgetting, that's a good sign. Did they immediately start forgetting when they left Derry? Immediately, or did it take years? I don't know. I will say there was one scene when they're in the arcade, Richie's in the arcade, and you see Mortal Kombat there, and I was like, Mortal Kombat was not released in the summer of 1989. It was released in 1992. That was my moment. I didn't know I said it out loud, but it definitely, that's how people were with like the movie releases on the movie theater, and people were like, nah, those didn't come out there. Mine's Mortal Kombat, which is because if kids are playing Mortal Kombat, they're definitely not playing Street Fighter 1. They're playing Street Fighter 2. There was no leap from Street Fighter to Mortal Kombat, with Street Fighter 2 completely missing the boat. Yeah, in the end, Stanley is dead because he killed himself rather than go back to Derry. So like for Stanley's suicide, it was basically Bill gets this note, and it's like, hey, I had to do what I did to bring you all together, which I really didn't feel. I didn't feel like they all stuck together because Stanley killed himself. It's kind of nuanced in there a little bit, but I don't feel like it was necessary. And in the end, it's like this guy kills himself, which I feel like it's more powerful to be like, this guy would rather kill himself than break his promise and not go back, or go back. He doesn't want to do either, so he's just going to kill himself. But instead, they're like, he made the great sacrifice for humanity, Stanley. It was just a weird way to push it, and I would have preferred it just stayed, well, Stanley was just scared out of his mind because Pennywise, like, kind of tried to eat his head last time when he was a kid. I wouldn't want to go back either. Eddie's dead. Eddie actually took that hit pretty well. He gets stabbed through the back, and he's actually alive for a while. He's alive a lot longer than I thought someone could be alive with that wound. That wound being basically He got the bishop from Aliens, dude. He was in bad shape. I mean, minus being ripped in half. That didn't happen. That's still a solid hit he took. Richie told him he is stronger than he thinks, and it was proven right by staying alive for longer than half a second after he'd gotten impaled through the back. And they all kumbaya, jump in the lake. I was like, is this cheesy? Is it? All right. I'm kind of getting the feels, though, because it really was Bill Hader crying that brought it home for me in that scene. And Ben got the girl. Hell yeah. But yeah, in the end, I enjoyed It Chapter 2. I enjoyed It Chapter 2, like I said. It's like this companion piece to It Chapter 1. I can't just pop in It Chapter 2 and just watch it for the shit of it like I can It Chapter 1. I need to be like, I want to marathon the whole thing. It Chapter 1, It Chapter 2, just going right through it. We have a solid It saga that's not really scary, but super cool. All right, so It Chapter 2, again, I'll ask you, all I can ask you is, have you seen it? What did you think about it? I can't be like, well, what's different from the book? What did you like that they changed? Because that's spoilers for me at this point. I plan on finishing that book before 2030. Right now, I jumped on the novelization of Star Wars Episode 7, known as Heir to the Empire, the true Star Wars Episode 7 at this point, as far as I'm concerned. So Star Wars Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn. Have you read it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.